Hi folks, and welcome back to my basement. I'm here today to demonstrate the online homework system as will be used in the Generalized Linear Modeling course in spring 2025. I've added to our course webpage here a link to the homework system. When you click the link, you will be taken to this login page. Please enter your last name as it appears in Maui. That means if you have a hyphenated last name, enter both with a hyphen in between. If you have a space with two last names, enter the space, etc. So it is not space sensitive, case sensitive, excuse me, but it is space sensitive. So it doesn't have to be uppercase or lowercase. But I am going to use one of the test logins that I used for demonstration purposes for today. So I'm going to do that. There's my 8-digit ID number. You would enter yours instead. And it takes you to a landing page. So throughout the semester, there will be more options added for additional homeworks as they become available. And at any point after an activity closes, I will update the database that plugs into this page, and you'll be able to see your current status with respect to how many points you've earned from each type of activity and how many are currently possible accumulating in your current grade. For the written homework, you will have downloads to files from this portal as well, through which you can retrieve your feedback from me. But for today, we are here to work on homework 0. So I'm going to click begin or continue. At the top, it will tell you how many points it's worth and how many points from each kind of section, as well as the due date. There will also be download files right here, the datasets and starter syntax files for the models that we're going to be working with. And you can see the instructions are going to be in blue and the questions are in black. So the purpose is to get to know the system here. The first thing we're going to work on are computational questions. So these are numeric answers, and you can enter the value into the box next to the question. So for the first one here, how many homework assignments are currently planned for this semester? I'm going to purposefully enter the wrong answer, let's say 9, and I'm going to hit enter, and you can see that it is still an active box, but now it is shadowed in red, indicating it's a wrong response. The correct answer, I happen to know, is 5. There we go. So I'm going to hit enter, and then it turns green. So now you can see that it is locked. It is no longer editable because it is sufficiently correct to the nearest 0.01. The level of precision that you have to enter to will always be specified in the instructions. It's usually going to be 0.01. So it is sufficiently correct against that criterion. You don't have to answer these one by one. You can enter all of your answers. So for instance, there are going to be, I think it's 72 homework points this semester. If you are late, you will lose 2. And so it's 2 overall, regardless of how late you are. However, doing this homework 0 will give you 2 points of extra credit, essentially creating a free late homework. So I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, and you can see now that I have 4 correct answers. Next, normally these would be questions about models that you would then need to interpret the results. So you would then come down to the results section that goes with these computational questions, and I would recommend doing them in sections like this, that way you don't forget which model you're actually trying to interpret. But given that this quiz is over the syllabus, we don't have to worry about that so much today. So here on campus, my office is technically considered South Lindquist Center, although it's in the bridge that connects the two, right by the main office for PSQF. Although my office hours are going to be held in my basement, so I do not hold office hours in my office on campus. The office hour times will be, those don't look so good. How about 3 to 4:30 on Mondays and Wednesdays? And if no one is there, I promise that I will stick around. Much easier to do when I'm sitting at home on Zoom. So in addition to these kinds of general questions, you will also be answering questions about the specific values that you found up above. So I have a note here. You can see that some of these say report and some say check. So the ones that say check are used to make sure that you're on the right track, but they won't necessarily appear in your results. The ones that say report will appear down in these paragraphs. So I will note that right now we have a value of 5 because we're going to be interpreting how many homework assignments there are, worth a maximum of 72 points. So initially when I logged in, these values were 0 because I hadn't entered anything yet. They changed to the values that I enter, not necessarily the correct ones. So these fields are populated by your responses, not the correct answers. So you can have an incorrect answer up here that nevertheless appears in this paragraph. That's just because that's what you last entered and that's what it has saved. But the idea is that these numbers then give the context as to what you are trying to interpret. So in this example, I know that if I have a 5 here and it's worth 72 points, it must be asking about homework since I've already answered those questions correctly, and so I will check homework for that. So you'll note these ones are not going to turn red or green. That's because immediate feedback would be sort of silly given that it's multiple choice and you can eventually get the right answer if you try enough times. You do need to save them though. So if I scroll to the bottom of the screen here, there's a box that says check and save your answers. I will click that box. So that means that the next time I log into this web page, I don't have to finish it in one sitting. I can come back and all the work that I've done up to this point will be saved so long as you click that box before you exit the web page. So let's move on to section 2 rather. How many formative assessments are we planning on having? We are going to have 4. How many points each are they regardless of accuracy for a good faith effort? 2. How many bridge activities, the new thing I am trying, we're going to have 4 of those as well. And I did settle on how many points they're worth. Each one is going to be worth a maximum of 5 points. So I'll put that there. And the maximum number of points you can earn if you complete it late is only 3. So it works out that you get 3 points for doing it at all, and you can earn up to another 2 points for completing it accurately. It's the first one, for example, is going to be 0.2 of a point per question. So five questions for a point towards the class. So down here then, I have a different kind of results section. So sometimes we will have paragraph completion results, and sometimes they will be just short multiple choice questions like this. So these questions are regarding the software. So Stata is available anywhere using the UIowa virtual desktop for free. It is not available on your own computer for free. You would have to purchase your own license or get someone else to do that for you. So I will pick the first answer. The class will use R, which is available for free. It is on the virtual desktop, although it runs very slowly on there, and I would not recommend that option. It is available for anyone to install on their own devices, so I will pick 1 and 3 because both of those things are true. Likewise, M+ software is not available for free on your own computer, but it is available for free if you use the virtual desktop through your tuition dollars. So I will select that one. And then last but not least, this class will be, my intent is that it will be challenging, but in a good way. So now I've answered all the questions. I'm going to click check and save my answers. I can see that I've gotten all of these correct, hooray, and I don't know about these ones yet. It does tell you when all of your computational questions are correct, so you can feel reassured by that. And then if you want to submit it for a grade, there's a box for that, submit final answers. Now this happens at least once a semester. You are not done yet. After you click the box to submit, you have 2 choices. You can submit for real, which requires you to re-enter your ID number to confirm your submission. I do that to keep people from submitting accidentally before they are ready. Or you can go back and change something. So you'll notice that the display has changed. All of the drop-down options are gone, and what you have entered is bolded so that you can look at it in the way that it's intended to read. If you go back through here and you think, wait a minute, I picked the wrong answer, I'd like to change my mind, you can click go back and change something, and then you have access to the drop-down menu choices once again, and you can change these, resave as needed. So let's say final answers. I mean it this time, I'm going to submit. So I will enter my fake ID number, hit enter, and then at the bottom it tells you your answers have been submitted and you may log in after the due date. So I'm going to go back to the main page to show you what that looks like. Now the choice to begin or continue is gone and has been replaced with view submitted answers. And I still don't know what happened with respect to the accuracy of the drop-down menus. So to show you what that will look like, I went ahead and completed a different one with a different due date. So here is an example of what your feedback will look like after you submit an assignment and after the due date has passed. So in the computational answers, it will show the last answer that you entered, if it's incorrect, in red italics, followed by what the correct answer should have been in green font. So that way you can work backwards, hopefully, and figure out where you went wrong and what the correct answer should have been. Likewise, in the paragraph completion section, correct answers are shown in green. Incorrect answers are shown in red italics, followed by what the correct answer should have been in green. So yes, my office hours will be in my basement on Zoom. Occasionally from my office on Zoom, but Zoom is the most important thing here. Likewise, in these questions down here, anything that is wrong will be shown in red italics followed by green for what it should have been. And last but not least, you can see your point totals here. So it tells me that I got 8 out of 9 computational answers correct. All of them together were worth 1 point, so I've earned 0.89 of those. I have 7 results questions correct out of 9, so I've earned 0.78 out of 1 for that. I'm not assigning late points for this homework 0, just in case there's any trouble with folks logging in, and it tells me how many points I've earned. So this is something I want to highlight in this demonstration. If you are stuck on a question and the due date is approaching, it is far better to leave that question unanswered or incorrect than to take the hit of late points for not submitting. So if you're missing an answer or two, that's probably going to be fewer than the 2 points that you would have deducted for being late. So after the fact, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't even have to be complete. Submit as much as you can, and then you can see what the answers should have been. And unless everyone finishes the homework on time, I am not going to be able to discuss it as a class, because that would essentially be giving the answers away to the folks who haven't done it yet. But as an individual, if you have questions about why you missed what you did, or you just want to go over the logic of it, please let me know, and me and the TA are happy to help you. So that's it for right now. I hope you all have fun with this. Please let me know if you run into any problems. And as they say on the YouTube, smash that like button and hit subscribe.